Thanks, Stacy. Josh, how you doing?
Good, Mike. How you doing?
Doing well. I got a two-part for you. The first looking back, and the second looking ahead. Just looking back, I think the end there, just kneeling on the ball at half with the 130 left. You guys have been pretty good in that situation. Just sort of, why not go for it would be the thought. And then the second part is just looking ahead on the Jets. I just want to hear what you have to say about that challenge.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, when when those situations present themselves, I think there's a lot of things that Bill considers. I know we were getting the ball to start the third quarter. There's some of that conversation going on. Certainly an element of the situation in the game. And again, you could say, let's just go all out and see what we can do. And then there's the flip side of that, which is to play it more conservatively, which we obviously did, and then try to go ahead and take advantage of your opportunity to start the third quarter with the ball. So I never I'm gonna argue with the decisions that are made in those situations. I know we've used those situations to our advantage in the past, but we've also had situations where we've done what we did. So, when those decisions are made, I just try to do the best that we can offensively to execute whatever our part is. And then hopefully we can help the team, on both sides of it. If it's to try to be aggressive there, then we'll do the best we can. If it's not, then try to end the second quarter with the ball and then do better than what we did at the beginning of the third quarter. The Jets, this is this is our second time around with this group. Coach Sala does a great job of getting them to play his style of football, which is unique. It really is. I know they talk about all gas, no brake, and you see that on the film. That's very clear to see that they have completely bought in. They've built the team around that motto. They're after the ball on every play. I know they haven't necessarily turned it over a lot defensively, but that isn't because there's a lack of effort or a lack of want to. You see that on most every play, they're after the football. So that's going to be a big part of the game. I don't know that we're going to play a team that plays harder than this one on every play. Their front's very disruptive. I mean, every one of those guys in the front can make disruptive plays, both in a running game with penetration, stunting. They moved quite a little bit in our first game, some of which we handled okay, some of which we did not. So that's a distinct difference from some teams that we line up against. I have a deep appreciation for Franklin Myers. He's got a unique blend of power, size, speed, quickness. As an edge guy, he's a different style of an edge player. But you got your hands full with him. Quentin Williams, we obviously know very well. Fudukasi. I mean, this is a really good group. And then I think they have one of the best linebackers in football in Mosley. So who finds the football difficult to block, hard to trick. We tried in the first game to get him off balance a little bit, but this sucker, he reads his keys very well. He knows where the ball is and usually finds it. And then when he gets there, he hardly ever misses a tackle. So he's a special player. And Marcus May, I'm assuming he's going to be back from injury. So, he's another guy at the third level of their defense that I'd say does a great job of communication, can cover tight ends, disruptive, when he gets around the football, and then he makes tackles. So again, we didn't do everything we wanted to do right the first time we played them. We were fortunate we came out with a W, and this is going to be a big challenge for us again. And we're excited to get started with our guys tomorrow.
Next question, Jim McBride, followed by Alan Siegel.
Hi, Josh.
Hey, Jim.
I wanted to ask you about Ramondre Stevenson and just what he's done to allow him to become a bigger part of your offense, and also how far has he come as a receiver since you've had him and started working with him?
Yeah, Mondre's just worked hard. I mean, I know he had the issue on opening day, and but that was his first football game in the National Football League, and every rookie kind of goes through those moments. but he has been very diligent about his work. He's prepared very hard. He's worked hard in the building, on the practice field, in the meeting room. We've given him plenty of reps, and he's usually taken advantage of those. He's a skilled player. He's a skilled player that is growing and learning how to play in our system against different defenses each week, and do the things that he needs to be able to do to continue to play more and more as the season goes on. He's always had good hands. I didn't do anything to change those. When he got here, he could catch the ball well. He's learning how to be a better route runner. There's detail required in those things. And sometimes, when you come from different college systems, what they ask you to do and what we ask you to do might be a little different. So he's just bought into what we've tried to do with him in the passing game. Try to run good routes, be where he's supposed to be, and be ready for the football. And then he does. He has soft hands, and he's kind of a natural catcher of the football. So gave us some plays the other day. Hopefully we can just build on that each week as we move forward, and continue to try to develop him and see him evolve as the season goes along.
Thanks, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Next question, Alan Siegel, followed by Evan Lazar.
Josh, how you doing this afternoon?
Good, Alan. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks. Josh, I went back to 2017 and looked over the last 4 years before this year in terms of fourth down attempts. And you guys organizationally have averaged about 15 attempts for fourth down on a season. This year, you've only gone for it 3 times. I'm wondering, is there some kind of common denominator? I'm not looking you to cast aspersions on anybody, but is there some kind of common denominator that seems to be an organizational change in terms of going for it on fourth downs?
I don't know. Not that I'm aware of. We haven't had any discussions relative to shifting philosophies or anything like that. I think those are decisions that, I'm sure coach makes, taking in a lot of information and trying to make the best decision for the team. And our job is always to be ready to go, so if he says go for it on 4th and 10, we're going to go for it on 4th and 10. If he says go for it on 4th and 2, we're going to be ready to go for it on 4th and 2. So we'll always be ready to go. Offensively, as a offensive coach, you always kind of want to go for it, even when it kind of is against the rational decisions. But you don't always get a chance to do that, and we're going to prepare each week for 3rd and 4th down like we do. And if those opportunities present themselves and we're given the chance to do it, then we got to go out there and make those decisions, the right decisions offensively. So again, I think we're continuing to try to grow and evolve offensively, grow and evolve as a team, improve hopefully in situations as we go. I think we've seen some growth in some areas. We need to do more in others. But when those decisions are made, we got to come through.
Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
Evan Lazar, followed by Karen Gregan.
Hey, Josh, my question was about 4th down a little bit as well. And you've alluded to it a couple of times here already, but those are still 100% Coach Belichick's calls to go for it or not go for it, correct?
Sure. I mean, if he tells us to do anything, we're going to do it. So if whatever Bill decides in those situations, there's certainly, we have to do a good job of being ready to execute our part of it, whether we're going for it or not.
Okay. And just if you were to go for it, I guess, where is your confidence level with your group to be able to pick up a big 4th down conversion like that? And Max specifically, do you feel comfortable with him and trusting him to be able to go and convert on a 4th down?
I believe in our entire group. So like I said, if they tell us to go for it, then I have faith and confidence in our preparation and what we do each week to prepare and get ready to go. And, when those opportunities present themselves, like I said, it's our responsibility to be ready and also execute properly when they come up so that we can convert and make those decisions, the right decisions for the team. So I have great confidence in all our guys.
Thanks, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Karen Gregan, followed by Tom Curran.
Good afternoon, Josh.
Hey, Karen, how are you?
I'm doing well. what message did it send to you after Mac threw the pick six and came right back with the 75-yard touchdown throw to Kendrick?
He's a tough guy, and I've seen him grow. I've seen our group grow. We talk a lot about mental and physical toughness and how much of that is required in this league to actually compete and win against good teams. And it's tough to do that. And so that's something that you see develop over the course of time. And Mac, obviously, you never want to have to go through the adversity of what happened there with the interception, but hey, that's football. It happened. And now the responsibility was on our shoulders to try to go out there and see if we could go back and take the lead. And I thought he responded with the mental toughness that you want to see from your quarterback. He wasn't super discouraged. He knew that we still had time in the game to go back out there and make a difference. And I thought he made a great play on the touchdown pass to Kendrick. And again, he's done that since he's been here. Rookies make mistakes every day. And so part of being a rookie is understanding that, those are things that are going to happen, and you can't go in the tank, and you can't let that ruin the rest of the day at practice, or, you can't let that ruin the rest of the half in a game. You have to be able to pick yourself up and move on and try to play better football as the game goes along. And I thought he did that there.
Just one more quick one, if I might.
Mm-hmm.
After he got popped for the sack fumble, did your play calling change at all to kind of give him a little bit of a break and also account for protection issues?
Well, I certainly believe that if you're concerned about something relative to the protection, I got to do the smart thing. So it might have tweaked a few things here or there, but the biggest thing, I think, as I look back on the game, is we had a 3rd and 2, a 3rd and 1, a 3rd and 3 right there at the beginning of the third quarter. And then we were short the following series after he got hit there on a 3rd and 9, I think it was. We gained 8.5. And, our inability to convert on a few series right in a row on 3rd down, it didn't allow us to kind of get a drive going and establish rhythm and continue to try to play the way that we were playing, I would say, for the first 12 to 15 plays in the game, when we kind of were skipping 3rd downs. And so, could we have done a few things differently? I mean, maybe, but we got to do better. We got the ball in position on 3rd and short, and we've generally been decent this year in those situations, but we didn't do a very good job, and that's my fault. So if we can keep some of those drives going with a few 3rd down conversions, then I think there's more opportunities to do things that you ultimately want to do. And but we were trying to stay balanced. Certainly didn't run a lot of plays in the first half. That was certainly a factor in the game. But no, I mean, he popped right back up. You saw him. He's a tough guy. Gregory's a hell of a pass rusher, so we had our hands full with him all day long. So there was something to be considered on every pass play.
Thank you, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry, guys, we're not going to get to everybody here, but I'll try to take 1 or 2 more questions. We'll start with Tom Curran.
Hey, Josh, believe it or not, I'm going to ask a question about 4th down.
Okay.
This is more going to be a global overview question, because we see oftentimes it pops up, hey, the probability of a win if the team goes for it on 4th and 3 here means, and I think that that's nice as a tool, but people are starting to use that as a rule, which seems somewhat naive to not consider that there's protection issues, there's fatigue issues, there's offense on the other side who you're punting it to.
Yep.
You're nodding vigorously, so I'm going to let you take the ball.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of factors. It's not here's a spreadsheet. The number says, you got a 62% chance of converting. I think there's a lot of variables, not to mention the health of your team, the health of the other team, the matchups, as you mentioned, on the edge in protection, how, what's the wind in the stadium, what's the scenario on the other side of the ball. I'm not even aware of some of the things that could be going on relative to our defense or their offense or anything like that. And I think that as a guideline to say that, you have an X amount of percentage chance to convert and do this and that, and the other, I think that's probably, all right, it's a ballpark figure, but there's so many other factors, going into those decisions. And I would say the execution of that individual play, is the defense, on the other side, has he been pressuring more than he was before? Is he playing more zone or man? Are we throwing it well? Are we protecting well? Are we running good routes? Are we getting open against, there's so many other things that go into that. I think that, as a head coach, I'm sure Bill has to be tied into all those factors. I'm certainly tied into one factor, which is what we're doing on offense, but I don't have much, awareness at that moment of how the kicking game's going, what the matchup is on the other side of the ball. And so I think you got to take a lot of those factors in and try to make the best decisions you can. Like I said before, offensively, like if it's 4th and 6 in the first quarter at the 35-yard line, you're like, let's go for it. You know what I mean? And you're in your back of your mind, you're also going, that's crazy, but I actually want to go for it, but that's that's being an offensive coach and having confidence in your players and what you might be able to do schematically. But I think those are tough decisions. Certainly, if you go for it and it works out, you're a genius. If you go for it, it doesn't work out, you're too risky and cost the team. And we were fortunate to be on the beneficiary. We were the beneficiary of stopping them early in the game and had great field position to start the game out, and then went down and scored in a couple of plays and gave us some momentum there too. So, there's always two sides to the coin, and whatever the decision is, the bottom line is we got to execute our job. Once the decision's made, go out there and coach well, play well, and make it the right choice.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
We'll squeeze in one last question. Zach Cox.
Hey, Josh. Sorry if you're picking up any background noise over here.
You're good.
We saw Mike Owenu over at right tackle for the first time this season. Just curious of your evaluation of how he performed over there and whether there'll be consideration to keeping him there moving forward.
Yeah, Mike's a super unselfish guy. I know Mike will do whatever we ask him to do, and we felt like that was the best decision at that point in time to put him over there. And I thought he responded decent. He's got some snaps certainly there from last season. He's got a lot of experience over there from what we did with him last year in games. So I've got confidence in Mike playing, really at tackle, inside at guard. He prepares hard. He studies hard. He's a tough guy. And he's like a lot of linemen that we've had in the past, where the more they can do, the more flexibility that they give you when you incur some injuries or run into some situations where, you can only take 8 guys to the game. So everybody can't have a backup for them. So Mike helps us, in terms of depth and moving the chess pieces around if we incur some situations during the course of the game. So, the hard part about that, that probably most people don't understand and realize is the toll it takes on you in practice, and so to prepare to play multiple spots on the offensive line in practice is really, it's an interesting study because you have to, you're going to get some reps at right tackle and you're communicating with the guy that's playing right guard. And last week, that was Ted Karras. And so a lot of the terms you're using and those things you're discussing are, either R words or they mean something different than what they would mean to you on the left side. Then you go over on the left side and you're working in a left guard and you're talking to the left tackle in the center a little bit more than you are the right guard. And so their communication is a little different. Some of the terms that they use are different. And certainly some of the same terms that meant something to you at right tackle would mean a completely different thing to you at left guard. So there's a mental tax to that. And there's a repetition portion of practice that is really necessary. And I give these guys a ton of credit because getting ready to play multiple spots on the offensive line in the same week, especially when you're on an opposite side of the football, that's a chore. And so the guys that we've asked to do that and prepare to do that, Some of our tackles do that. Certainly some of the swing guards have done that. But for Mike to be able to go from guard to tackle and play on opposite sides of the football, that's not a seamless transition. And so I give Mike a lot of credit for preparing the way he does and being ready to play any spot that we ask him to play in a given week. And I thought he went in there and played representatively well last week, the way we thought he would.
Really interesting. Thanks, Josh.
Yes, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Josh. DeMarcus Covington is
Yep.
next.
Thanks, guys.